俺は信じる。ドリルは俺の魂だ!
This right here is my favorite moment in an anime called Gurren Lagann. You're probably confused as to what this scene is, so let me rewind a bit. On the surface, Gurren Lagann looks like another loud, over-the-top mech show where dudes yell and robots get bigger for no reason. But somehow, it works beautifully. I grew up watching anime like this, not always understanding it, but feeling like it meant something to me. Years later, coming back, it hit completely different. Because this show isn't just cool, it's intentional. Every fight, every ridiculous transformation is tied to something real. There's something timeless about humans fighting monsters. Some impossible threat shows up, something you shouldn't be able to beat, and instead of giving up, we fight back. Gurren Lagann is one of the best examples of that. It dropped in 2007. Apparently, it was a great year for anime. I was only 3, so I can't really make an opinion on that. Most people hear mech anime and think giant robots yelling and punching each other in space. And yeah, sometimes it is that, but that's not the whole picture. However, let's focus on Gurren Lagann. It's not just hype, it's emotional, existential, and a human story. So the question is, what is it about this show that cuts through all the noise and leaves something real behind? What makes it genuinely inspiring?
Please stop saying dumbass things. You're not even making sense.
Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
My drill is the drill that creates the heavens!
In a world where humanity has been forced underground, a boy named Simone and his loud, fearless brother, Kamina, discover a robot buried beneath their village. And with it, the power to fight back against the beastmen ruling the surface. A monstrous force that is, quite frankly, hilarious to look at. What begins as a small act of rebellion turns into this galaxy-spanning war for survival, freedom, and belief itself. It's so cool, but it's also so deep. At the center of it all are two very important people. Kamina, the fire that lights the way, and Simone, the quiet spark buried in the dirt. Simone is small, quiet, and insecure. He lives underground, carving out tunnels every day, not with pride or purpose, but out of habit, out of fear. This world is confined by ceilings, both literal and emotional. In Gurren Lagann, the mechs called gunmen aren't just machines. They're extensions of their pilots' personalities and emotions. Lagann itself starts small and unassuming, reflecting Simone's insecurity. As Simone's confidence grows, so does the gunman, evolving into a symbol of his will and determination. If Simone doesn't have faith in himself, the gunman will not work. This relationship makes the mechs more than just weapons. They're characters in their own right, mirroring the inner journey of those who pilot them. Simone's arc in the first act is all about potential, not the confidence of a chosen one, but the terrifying uncertainty of someone who hasn't realized who they are yet. He's not weak, but his strength is buried so deep, even he can't see it. Kamina, his older kind of brother, sees it instantly. From the very beginning, this show wears its tone on its sleeve. It's over the top, it's absurd, it's loud, but emotional, but also ridiculous. And it somehow pulls off all that without falling apart. As a kid watching this, I was hooked by the characters, but I stayed because of the world. Gurren Lagann's setting is a fever dream of contradictions, but it somehow works beautifully. There's different kinds of societies within this world. There's a militaristic underground village focused on defense against gunmen attacks, home to skilled fighters like Yoko, but there's also a religious cult led by someone who can't even read. It's pretty chaotic, but here's the thing. Underneath that chaos, Gurren Lagann understands rhythm. It knows when to go big and when to pull back, when to linger on a moment long enough to make you feel it. That rhythm isn't just visual or narrative, it's musical. With reckless confidence, Taku Uesagi's soundtrack switches from somber strings to rap music, and it's awesome. It doesn't just accompany the story, it amplifies it. The opening is pure adrenaline in my eyes, equal parts inspirational and a call to action. It captures everything the show stands for, pushing forward, digging deep, and never settling. It's not just catchy, it moves you. One of my favorite songs is Libera Me From Hell. It's a mix of opera and rap music, and it's just awesome. It's the feeling of defying fate. Every time it kicks in during any battle, especially the final battle, it's not just a song anymore, it's the feeling of defying fate with everything you've got. You don't just watch Gurren Lagann, you feel it rumble in your chest. Which brings us to the fights. Every punch, every explosion, every beat of the action feels intentional. It's not just flashy for the sake of being flashy anymore. You have scenes where the main character launches galaxies at the enemy. Does it make sense? Absolutely not. Is it cool? 100%. Gurren Lagann treats every frame like it matters. One of the best examples is when Kamina dramatically unsheaths his sword. It takes forever. Most shows would have cut the moment short or played it off as a 1-second gag, but here the animators drag it out on purpose. Why, you may ask? Because it's cool, goddammit, not just surface level cool. This moment builds Kamina. It tells you exactly who he is. Theatrical, overconfident, larger than life. Kamina isn't just comic relief or a hype machine. He's the emotional engine of the first act. He's the force that drives Simone forward. His confidence is so absolute, it borders on delusion. But in this world, belief is power. Kamina sees the fire in Simone long before Simone does, and until that fire ignites, Kamina lends him his own, like training wheels made out of pure adrenaline. Believe in me who believes in you. That's Kamina's role. He's not the protagonist, he's the spark, the kind of person who lives fast, burns bright, and pushes others further than they thought they could ever go. But unfortunately, sparks don't last forever. His death is sudden, brutal. I almost forgot how brutal. Not just shocking, but disruptive. Kamina wasn't just a leader, he was momentum. Without him, the energy of the early episodes, the belief that anything was possible, dies too.
Listen, Simone, never forget. Just believe in yourself. Not in the Simone that I believe in. Not in the Kamina that you believe in. Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
Kamina's final words aren't just a pep talk. They're a lifeline, the final act of love. But grief doesn't immediately create strength. Simone shrinks, doubts. The show itself changes completely, becoming slower, quieter, more introspective. Kamina's death marks more than loss. It's the passing of a torch. Simone's journey shifts from relying on Kamina's fire to discovering his own. This theme of legacy, building on what came before without losing oneself, is central to the emotional core of the story. And here's where Gurren Lagann reveals its depth. This isn't just a story about belief. It's about what happens when belief falters. When the hero is gone, when the fire goes out, Simone doesn't grow by becoming Kamina. He has to grow by becoming Simone, his own leader, his own kind of hero. The loss hits the entire cast. Yoko, usually confident and composed, carries Kamina's memory with quiet strength. She steps up, fighting harder and protecting others, but there's a visible ache behind her restraint. Rusio, once drawn to Kamina's boldness and inspired by him, starts to question whether the belief alone is enough. Even side characters like Liron, Viral, and Kitan shift in Kamina's absence. Some hold the team together, some challenge it, some fall apart. In this story, their strength lift each other, but it's Simone that pulls the whole story upward, shattering the sky. Spiral energy is mentioned a lot in this show. That journey from follower to leader, from believer to self-believer, is what spiral energy also is. Because Gurren Lagann isn't subtle about its metaphor. Spiral energy is belief made real. It's willpower that becomes power. The more you push forward, the more unstoppable you become. But it's not just about hype or shonen cliches. It's about momentum, personal growth, evolution. Spiral energy is what lets Simone rise out of the lowest point of his life and climb beyond the stars. It's what powers the mechs, but more importantly, it's what powers the people inside them. You don't win in this world because you're the strongest. You win because you refuse to stop growing. That's what makes Simone's arc so satisfying. By the end, he's piercing galaxies, not because Kamina dragged him there, but because Kamina lit the spark and Simone carried the fire. Kamina isn't the only one that helps Simone. The whole cast does. But one of the most important characters is Nia. She's not a warrior, not a pilot, not even from Earth, but she shows up exactly when Simone is at his lowest. Not to just push him like Kamina did, but to reach out to him. Where Kamina shouted belief into Simone, Nia asked for it, gently and honestly. She makes Simone feel again, and later when she's revealed to be an anti-spiral messenger, her existence becomes the emotional core of the final act. The anti-spiral represents more than just a villain. It embodies the fear of change and the suppression of growth. This cosmic enemy forces the characters and viewers to confront the tension between stagnation and evolution, making the battle one not just for survival, but for the future of progress itself. Her love isn't just a side plot. She's not just someone to save. She's what reminds him that saving the world means saving people. Everyone from Yoko to Viral to Rusio to Kitan gets their moment. There's not a single character that I hate. They're not just support players orbiting Simone. They change, struggle, fall, rise, just like him. Viral goes from an enemy to a comrade, searching for a purpose in a world without war, a world that seems like a paradise. Rusio becomes a symbol of pragmatic failure, a mirror of what happens when belief turns into fear. Yoko is another character that I never seem to hate. In the second half of the show, she retreats to the countryside, helping young children enjoy being children. Another great character is Kitan. Kitan gets one of the most iconic moments in the show, when he sacrifices himself in a blaze of pure spiral will. Each character has its own story that I could talk about for hours. The best way to summarize all these characters is that they prove that anyone can be a hero if they refuse to stop moving forward. In Gurren Lagann, every character is a drill, not just Simone. Everyone is clawing, fighting, digging towards redemption, towards meaning, towards something bigger than themselves. And that's why the show doesn't just hit hard, it pierces. This is not a power fantasy. It's a story about how belief spreads like wildfire, how grief can either hollow you or forge you, and how progress, real, painful, honest progress, isn't graceful. It's messy, it's violent, and it never stops moving. So when the show screams to you, kick logic and do the impossible, it's not just hype. It's a war cry. It's a blueprint for how to live when the world says you can't. Because when Simone stands before an anti-spiral god carrying the weight of all those who dare to believe, he's no longer that scared boy in a hole. He's that spark, the one who kept moving, the one who leads, and he doesn't do it alone. The drill, it's not a weapon, it's not just some cool little gadget. It's belief, it's defiance, it's growth given shape. It's the human will, twisting, turning, forcing its way through doubt, fear, and hopelessness. Not fate, not destiny, choice. The choice to rise, the choice to fight, the choice to keep going even when everything says you shouldn't. That's spiral energy. That's Gurren Lagann. And when it's all over, when the stars stop shaking and galaxies go quiet, Simone doesn't take the crown. He doesn't demand some sort of praise. He doesn't even stay, because the price of his victory was her. It was Nia. She disappears in his arms, just like he always knew she would. And still, he smiles. He holds her hand until the very last moment and lets her go. The world erupts in joy. People laugh, they cry. They've won. They're free. But Simone, he doesn't join them. He walks away without glory, without reward, without the person he loved most. Not because he's broken, but because he understands. He's at peace with himself. He chose a simple life because that's the legacy he wanted. Not power, not permanence, just a path cleared for the next generation to rise.
Listen, Simone, don't believe in yourself. Huh? Believe in me. Believe in the Kamina who believes in you.